All right, in the last lesson, we talked about inheritance, and we're going to do in this class is start to look at more gameplay programming, where I have my level generator script open, and we have this move speed variable here. And what we can do is, as our character is running through the game, right? Depending on if we bump into a health pickup or a fence or whatever, we can adjust that move speed. We can speed up and slow down the game. We can adjust the physics. I'm actually going to, let's see. We have move speed set to 4. I'm just going to kind of take a look a little bit. We have this player collision handler. And let's see. We have collision cooldown. I'm going to move that back to 1 because I think it looked pretty good at 1. 2, it's spaced out a little bit too much. He's almost like not reacting. So like now we can hit it at 1. He could do a spin, so 1 second is cool. And then he hits the hamburger, and the hamburger was right after. And so that didn't cause him to do a roll until after 1 second. And actually, I think I identified the move speed on the player controller. If we click on level generator, this is our move speed for how fast those pieces are going. Sorry, I kind of sort of was focusing too much on the character and adjusting that value. But what I'm talking about is if our character gets hit, what we can do is just access this move speed variable here, which is set to 10. And that's how fast these pieces are coming. And remember, our elements are being spawned, right? We use that fourth element on the instantiation method to call to parent those ground pieces onto the ground parent object. So each ground object has those pieces attached to them. So if we select our ground here, you can remember, like I said, we have this, our level generator here. We have the ground piece that we're spawning, the starting ground amount, the ground parent object that it spawns, and then this move speed. So what I'm going to do here is underneath update, I'm just going to make another variable here, and I'm going to make it public so we can access it from another script. And I'm going to say public void change ground movement speed. And I'm just being as descriptive as possible, right? Modular programming, so that, and really what we can do is just call this every time we collide and adjust how we want it to move. And we'll do very basic math here. So let's make a variable in here called speed amount. And we can pass in a minus or plus and just subtract from move speed or add from move speed that move amount. So if we pass in a negative value, it'll minus a positive 10 or whatever, it'll average, it'll subtract or add to it. So I'm just going to grab my move speed here, and I could just do plus equals speed amount. So for example, if we pass in, so let's say we are at 10, right? We say 10. Sorry, I know I'm doing very basic math here. Forgive me. I just want to be overly clear on what I'm doing here. So let's say we have move speed here, right? And move speed is currently is storing the value of 10. So what we can do is if we subtract from 10, right? So we have plus, but we pass in a minus 10, right? That would essentially give us a 0, right? And if you need to check this out, and again, I don't mean to insult anyone's intelligence. This is just for clarity. So we have 10 plus a minus 10. You can see it equals 0. So just kind of being overly clear in case somebody needs to see this, and if you did need to see it, doesn't mean anything. It's coding sort of takes the math part of our brain, because we're not directly working with math, we're working with variable names and things like that. And sometimes we don't see it clearly unless it's actually showed off in a calculator. So that's why I presented it that way. I'm definitely one of those people who needs to see things in that way. Now I'm going to go up here one more time, and I'm going to duplicate this move speed here, and I'm going to call this min move speed. Now this move speed variable, and I'm going to set this to 2, is going to be used as a minimum movement speed because we never want our game to be like stopped, right? We want it to always, come on, there we go. We want it to always be moving in some direction or not. This isn't how I want to end my game. I just want to either speed it up or slow it down. So what we can say is if, like inside of here, where's that at? We can wrap this in an if statement, right? So I'm going to select this, hold Alt and move it in, hit Control Alt and Enter to tab that over. What I can say is if move speed is maybe less than or equal to 1. Actually, we should no, we want this outside of here actually. And then I'll just set move speed in here equal to minimum movement speed. Like that. And then let me hit Control Enter. So now we have a safeguard in here where if move speed, right, we're passing in that value for speed amount. And if move speed equals speed amount, and then if move speed, maybe we do this first. You know what we can do is we could always just grab minimum movement speed because I hate hard coding numbers like this. So we'll just say if movement speed is less than or we just say less than minimum movement speed, we'll do move speed equals, because if we do less than and equal to minimum move speed, it may never even get to this unless we do a higher number. So this is good. If move speed is less than minimum movement speed, move speed equals minimum movement speed. And then this should actually, I'm going to hit Control RR here. This should, just because we want the camel casing to be correct and we want to be using good conventions, that should be a capital S. Let's save that. All right, now let's notice that this is grayed out. So we're not actually using this or implementing it anywhere. We just have our core logic here and we made it public. Just double click, making sure that you see that. All right, now we have this player collision handler class that we made earlier. That's this one right here. And this, remember, this handles any collision that our player has, like with our scene. So let's go ahead and add back our start method. So I'm just going to start typing start and let that write it out for me. I'm going to hit Control L there, hit Control S to save that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new variable in here of type level generator. So just kind of copy the name there and then just, we'll make a variable. Actually, I'll put it below these because it's kind of its own thing. So we'll make a variable of type level generator just called level generator. And I'll make it a lowercase l. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my start method to find this level generator object here because it's named level generator here and it has a level generator script on it. So what I can do is I can just say level generator equals find and then first object of type and then level generator. Now, why am I doing first object of type here? And we're getting this error because we need to specify the type here as well. So my angle brackets. So what this is going to do is it's going to retrieve the first object of active loaded object of type, which is this one. Now, you don't want to use this inside of update because it's very resource intensive, but we're just using it once in start, so it's okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to call our level generator when our players hit and pass in this value for speed amount. So we're going to use that to call this change ground movement speed. So what I'm going to do is after this cooldown for 1 second, I'm just going to do level generator. Come on. Just call that variable level generator that we have up type. And because that variable is public, we should be able to just start typing out change ground movement speed. So every time we hit it. And so as we enter that collision, right, we can pass in a value here to change that movement speed. So I'm going to copy the name of my method here, and I'm going to make another float value here. And this is just going to be adjust change ground movement speed, and we'll make this equal to -2, because what happens is, and I know that's a big name, but I like to be explicit in my variable naming. So if I paste that inside of here, what it's going to do is every time we collide with another object, right, we're going to trigger that movement, and then we're going to subtract -2 from that, right? So actually inside of our level generator, we have speed amount. We have it as a serialized field. So I'm going to select my level generator here, and I'm going to set, well, we have it set to 10 here. So let's test this and see if that works for us. So I'm going to press play, and I just want to see if this move speed gets subtracted by 2 when I bump into certain objects. So you can see here, that went down 8, 6. My cake hit me, that took me down to 4. You can see I'm moving so much slower. The game is getting really boring at this point, but I just want to hit this hamburger. Notice it never goes down below 2. It just kind of stays at 2. Okay, so it's working. That logic is working, which is awesome. Make sure to save project, just to be safe. All right, so I want you to think about this before I show you how to do this code. Like, just kind of pause it. Inside of our health pickup script, oops. Oh, no, this is not good. Oh, that's the prefab, sorry. Oh, thank Lord. Health pickup script in here. I want to, on pickup, when I pick up the object, I want to be able to access the level generator here. And let me delete this formally serialized. We don't need that. I want to be able to increase the speed as I pick up those health pickups. All right, so I'm going to pause the video. Let's also, before I actually do that, let's just make sure that our health pickup is set to be a trigger, which it is. And yeah, so go ahead and pause the video and see if you could figure that out without me. All right, hopefully you figured it out without me. If not, that's okay. It just means that you need to do a little bit more like either meet with me, we could talk more about code. We also need to just sort of, just practice more. As I'm doing this, pause the video, hand write out the code, really think about coding, and try to take these games that we're making and really improve on them for your portfolio. All right, so what can we borrow from this player collision handle that we know we need? Well, I know I need to access this level generator because that's controlling my movement speed. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to borrow these two here. And I'm going to paste it at the top here. Now, something else I need to do is, as I'm going through this, I'm like, okay, well, what did I use to adjust the speed, right? Well, I went inside of let's see, where's that at? So we're in our player collision here, sorry. I went inside of here and I went to level generator, change movement speed, and I have this adjust ground movement speed. So I'm going to copy that and I'm just going to paste that inside of here to save time. But now I have an error because we don't have this variable, right? So if I highlight over, it says cannot resolve symbol adjust movement speed. It really, I wish it would be like more common speak and be like, oh, this is not, like, I don't find this variable or whatever you're trying to pass in. And so I'm just going to borrow this. But don't forget, we really need to adjust this to maybe positive too. All right, so I'm going to save this script. Now I'm going to look to pick up these health pickups. And let's see. So I'm going to press play. And we're going to, let's see, look at our level generator here. So you can see I'm down to 6 for movement speed. I'm going to try to grab this one here and then back to level generator. I'm up to 8. Let's see, I'm kind of like, ooh, now I'm down. I have these coins. I'm down to 6 for movement speed. I'm down to 4. So I got to get to that health there as fast as I can. There we go. Now I'm back up by 6. I'm at 8. Oh, I'm back down again. So I'm going to try to see how fast I can get this game. It's getting kind of hard because my movement speed, let's see, I just want to get this pretty quick. See, there's the health pickup right there. Anyway, I won't bore you. You guys can play it. See how fast you can get your game to go. All right, so I also want to adjust it so the move speed here adjusts with, you notice when those donuts and stuff are coming at us, they're set to the amount of force that this Z value has here, right? Because we set this physics value to Z, and that's what's pushing the bakery goods towards our character. So what we're going to do in our code is we're going to adjust this Z value so that it adjusts with move speed. All right, so remember that this value is minus 981 here, right? So inside of our player, or rather our level generator here, because this is where all of this is going down, we have our method that we created, which is up here, which is change ground movement speed. And we have a speed amount being passed in. Remember, this value being passed in is whatever it's coming in, whether it's positive or negative. But this is a minus value. So I'm going to bring up my calculator one more time. So if we have a minus 9 plus a minus 9 equals a positive 18, right? But if we have a minus 9, right? We have a minus, let's see, minus 9 plus a positive 10, we get a value of 1. So what we want to do is we want to access the physics. So the way that we can access this physics here is pretty simple. You just write the word physics, and that gives us access to this. And then what is the parameter here that we want to access? Well, it's dot gravity. And what we're going to say is we want to equals a new vector 3. And these x, y, and z values, see it says x, y, and z, are pertain to this, right? So all I'm going to say is I'm going to leave physics dot x. So I'm going to copy this really quick. So physics dot gravity dot x, I'm just going to leave that alone. And I'm going to leave the physics dot y to whatever these settings are here. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my z value, but I'm just going to subtract speed amount from it. Let me go ahead and put this on a new line so you can kind of see all, because I know that some screen sizes might be small. Don't forget your semicolon there. And I'm going to save that. Now I got a error here because I didn't put the z, dot z. So this has to do with that calculation I was talking about. So if this is currently set to minus 9.81, we pass in a positive 2, it'll add the positive 2 to the negative minus 9.81. So just so you understand the way that this logic works. Hopefully I was over-explaining and you almost felt insulted. If not, and you felt like it was useful, I'm happy about that too. Because like I said, because we're working with code and gravity and this, like it could be very confusing, even though the math might be just basic addition and subtraction. All right, so let's take a look at how that looks in our game. Let's see. So you see how slow those donuts are moving? But when I get this, notice that the gravity starts getting a little crazier on those donuts. So let me see if I can grab this guy. Yeah, it's even the donuts are going nuts. Like all these bakery goods. See that? The hamburger, it's getting faster. This donut's getting faster. Then boom, I hit that. Hit it. Hit it. See how the world is slowing down? Nope, speeding up. Anyway, so just kind of showing you the other. And again, comment this line of code. If you're confused or about anything, comment these lines of code. Yeah, I mean, it'll help you to better understand it. And I promise you, the more games you code and the more you get in here and start fiddling around with this, the easier this gets. All right, I think that's good to now. We're almost at 20 minutes. And what we'll do is we'll start looking at cameras in the next video.